Okay, cool. And we are live. All right, sports update. Adrian, Reid, what's good?
Good.
Another show. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, AL wild card, man. Our Detroit Tigers played the Houston Astros at 2:30 today. They won 3-1. Scooble, 6 strong innings, 6 strikeouts. It got real intense late in that game. That ninth inning was real intense right there. Had to bring Brisky in to close it out, loaded the bases up, man. But good win altogether, though. Start off this 3-game series. They're up one. So Reid, what was your takeaways from this Tigers game?
Yeah, I only got to watch the first. I think I left at the 7th inning because I had to go pick my son up. But Scooble pitched amazing. The bats were hot in the beginning, which was great. I hated the guy that was announcing the game, wondering why Carpenter wasn't in the lineup when Andy Ibanez is the next to Justin Henry Malloy is the best person to hit against lefties. I think they each have like over an 800 OPS and over a 250 average against lefties for both of them. So that guy just saying that, going strictly off of batting average and home runs, it really shows you that that's kind of all they care about in New York and not really anything else. And what AJ Hinch is kind of put together is guys, playing guys in situational baseball, I guess, which you don't hear all too often. So, good win. The bullpen, like you said, really, really squeaked it out for them there. I don't think anybody expected them to score 3 runs, let alone, have 3 runs to win it. It's exciting and it looks like they can beat them again. It just depends on who the Astros really kind of, throw against us. But bats stay a little bit hot. You could definitely do something. I don't know who's pitching tomorrow if they've announced it yet, but you got Olsen or someone coming in. Olsen's got to be your next best option.
I'm thinking it's gonna be Mize.
It says on ESPN. It could be wrong, but it says Houghton against Hunter Brown. So
Houghton came in that game today, didn't he?
It can always change around too, but yeah. I don't know if he did or not.
Let me look at that. I missed most of the game because I was at work, so I missed most of it till the bottom of the 9th, actually.
I feel like it was a Houghton sighting.
Yeah, you did right. He pitched the 0.1 inning. So yeah, I don't know. Probably might be.
Last time he's played 2 innings, or he's played 2 games against Houston. They've only ran for 2 innings. He's allowed 1 hit, 3 strikes, and no earned runs. So will he play? I don't know. I would think that you would want to put like Reese Olson or someone in there and try and go. I would even pitch Reese first and then maybe bring Mize out like they did against the White Sox and hope that you can, win out a game 2. So I just think you almost empty the tank for game 2 and hope for the best.
Yeah, I agree. It was a gritty win. They got up 3-0 quick. I was surprised he did. And there was a lot of Tiger fans from what I could see when I watched the end of the game. But great out by Brisky to pitch, get him out of that jam. If that hit would have got through over Torque, that would have been a tie ball game real quick. So it could have got real interesting. But they had the best pitcher on the mound, and Scooble did his thing, man. So against a good Astros team. So it's not as good of an Astros team as we've seen over the last few years, but they still have some talent. So it was a good win for this young Tigers team.
Yeah, I trusted them in this game 1, man, especially with the Scooble going on the mound. It's just now it's like where do you go now as far as pitching? And I wonder if Verlander's going to pitch at any point in this series.
He's out for this series.
He's not on the roster.
Yeah, they took him off. He's been bad since he's came back from.
He's been forward this year.
Let's see, the Tigers.
So after this contract is up with them, this pretty much might be the grand finale. Pretty much,
probably.
Yeah, I would say so. He just doesn't look the same. I don't know what it is, but
the Tigers have done pretty well against Hunter Brown, hits wise, not really earning runs, but he's pitched 2 games against the Tigers because they've only played twice this year, I believe. But he had 12 innings pitched, 10 hits, and 1 earned run, 1 home run. But he's had 16 strikeouts in that time. But 10 hits is still pretty solid. And the bats are probably better than they were back then when they played the Astros.
I mean, they win this series. They're playing a familiar foe in Cleveland. So I mean, things could get really interesting. I don't. What was it? Did they have a win record against Cleveland this year or not?
I have to look that up. So, would you guys like to see Verlander retire a Tiger?
Yeah, I think it's only right.
I mean, I don't. Do I want to see him retire a Tiger? I think it'd be cool, but if he doesn't, then I don't really care. I mean, he won his World Series with the Astros, so his Tigers days are kind of a thing of the past. I feel like.
Yeah.
So you think he goes into Hall of Fame as a Astro?
I think. I mean, unless the Tigers want to shell out a little bit of money to bring him back just to give him the ceremony, yeah, I would assume him to be an Astro.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree. Oh, by the way, guys, the Brewers are up. The Brewers are down 8-4 in the bottom of the ninth against the Mets. Atlanta and San Diego will be pitching off here in about 15-20 minutes. Then you got Kansas City who beat Baltimore 1-0. So you could have possibly three AL Central teams in the in the freaking second ALDS. So it'd be real interesting. So
Tigers are 6-7 versus the Guardians.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, there it is. Well, yeah, game 2 tomorrow. Tigers.
Oh,
Raaj cut out.
they haven't played them since the end of July.
It's been that long?
I don't know if it's just me now.
Oh,
there we go. I'm back.
Yeah, you cut out, then I cut out.
There's Raj.
There he is.
We back. A little technical difficulties.
Yeah, so they haven't played the Guardians since the end of July 30th. So they haven't even played them on this hot run that they've been on.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, Tigers, Astros tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. We got to see who they're gonna trot out on that mound.
So early.
Yeah, it's frustrating time.
Really frustrating.
It's frustrating. So I think it's gonna be Olsen or Mize that starts the game. So we'll see.
I think it's gonna be Olsen.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, let's move over to the NBA today. Training camp officially open for the NBA media day as well. But a trade also happened. Adrian, you had Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo from the Knicks go to the Timberwolves for Karl Anthony Towns. So how did you like that trade?
Milwaukee just lost, by the way.
Okay. All right, there we go. Well, they did say they're still working on the framework of the deal, but this is, I assume, presumably supposed to happen. It's gonna happen. I think the main reason this trade happened is this is just me. I thought about it. I kind of didn't like the trade at first for the Minnesota Timberwolves, but as I got thinking about it, it kind of makes a little more sense because they're spending all this money into Ant-Man, Cat, and Rudy Gobert. And that is just way too much money to give 3 guys. Now, New York is trying to win the championship. They're trying to be relevant. I think it helps show you that Ant-Man is got to be the leader of this team, and he's got to step up and he's got to play at an MVP level if the Timberwolves want to do anything in the Western Conference. And then who else wants to take on Rudy Gobert's contract? Nobody. So that's just plain and simple. And Cat's still young enough where I think he can go to New York and fit into Tom Thibodeau's system. I think it works for both teams because you send them from the West to the East. But Ant-Man's gonna have to step it up and become a real superstar and lead this team. So it spaces the floor from a little bit defensively, but getting DiVincenzo helps because it adds some more shooting and some more bench production that they gladly needed. There was rumors that he wasn't happy in New York, which I don't know why, but he's united with his Nova boys. But I think all in all, I think it's a win for both teams as I see fit.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I think it was Julius Randle, as long as he's healthy, seems to be the only interesting thing in the trade. You do got to remember too, it was also Detroit's first round pick that they owed the Knicks as well is going that way. Protected 1 through 13, I believe. So that's in 2025. So that's nice, but you still, if you make a play in or what is that right? If you make a play in, that means you get rid of the pick. But then at that point, it's pick 14 to 16 or whatever you would probably end up with because they would probably lose first round. But anyway, I think moving Cat to the East is huge. I think that's big for New York because you had Isaiah Hartenstein as your center last year, and Robinson comes in for rebounds only, or he gets hurt. So I think having a guy like Cat who can still space the floor as a big man and shoot threes and still get you double doubles, pretty much like average a double double almost. I think that helps them a lot, along with the addition of Bridges. Josh Hart's still there, and who else am I missing?
They still got OG.
Yeah, OG. Yeah, so you have OG too. So I think that helped the Knicks more than it helped Timberwolves because DiVincenzo, I think, was really a product of that whole Knicks system. I think that Julius Randle, again, if he can stay healthy, I think he'll be big for Ant-Man. But Rudy Gobert, I just don't trust. He's there for rebounds really only. The thing is, can Cat just play in Thibodeau's offense and play all that time? He's going to be playing 82 games, all 40 plus minutes. So if he can stay healthy for that, I think the Knicks have a good chance. But yeah, I think that the Timberwolves are not in a rebuild, obviously, but I don't think they're going to go as far in the playoffs as they did last year. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I think the West is much better. Dallas is more improved. I think Phoenix will be better. They finally got a real point guard in Tyus Jones.
Probably only get better.
Well,
Lakers are not gonna do it.
San Antonio could be a sleeper team too.
Yeah. Did you see that Wemby put on 25 pounds or whatever it was?
Yeah.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah, I feel like the Spurs are what the Pistons want to be right now. That's where they should be in the rebuild, but that's a different story for a different day. But the West is gonna be loaded. It's gonna be tough to get through. I think injuries, whoever stays the healthiest has the best chance of coming out of the West again.
All right, some of the feedback here. David said Knicks can come out the East. I think honestly, I just think it comes down to who's the healthiest during the playoffs time. Who has the healthiest roster? But I think I'm gonna still say Boston is the team to beat in the East, but I think Philly and New York are right there.
Yeah. Hey, Reid, I don't know if you've seen it, but they said Embiid said he dropped about 25 to 30 pounds. So we'll see if that makes a difference in his play this year if he can stay healthy. We'll see. He didn't show you that, but if he's lost that much weight, that shows you that he's actually dedicated to probably figuring out if Philly can get over the hump. But I do believe, like Raaj said, that Boston is still the best team in the East.
Yeah, I think it's Boston. If he drops 25 pounds and that helps him stay healthy, good for him. I just think that he just has poor health in general, where it's just at this point he's been injured so many times, it's just going to be reoccurring injuries. But if you lose the 25 pounds and proves me wrong, good for him. I don't know. I've seen it happen too many times for me to hop on the Embiid train now. So Royals beat the Orioles 1-0.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
DC said the Kings will be improved as well. They added DeMar DeRozan.
They will be, but there's just something about the Kings just being one of those, first of all, you're in the West, it sucks for you, but they're just one of those organizations that are just out in the middle of nowhere, shrouded by Golden State and LA and the Clippers in California, and you just are stuck in the West. You're they have Sabonis and Fox, and now they got DeRozan, but they're just that off-cast child that just gets no attention on the holidays,
Doesn't it always feel like they're missing something, though?
Exactly.
I don't know. They always feel like they're just missing that one guy. I don't know what it is, but
yeah. DC said, "Rest in peace, Mutombo and Pete Rose."
No. Yeah.
Said legends never die. Yep.
Fair. Rest in peace to both of the fellas.
Shout out to James Earl Jones line right there, who did just recently pass away as well.
Yeah, James Earl Jones as well. Yeah, for sure. All right, so I want to move over to college football. So we got number 12 Michigan. They had the 3-point win over Minnesota. Adrian, they're out of their 5-game homestand. Their next 2 games are on the road. So what's your analysis of Michigan right now? The game Saturday and everything moving forward.
It's still the same thing. They're just It's just gonna be ugly to watch. They're not blowing anybody out, no matter if they win games. More so with this Minnesota game, they did what they're supposed to do, got on top of. They're a better football team than Minnesota, but I think it was a product of that game. The second half, they just kind of let their foot off the gas and thought Minnesota was gonna quit. But then once Minnesota got rhythm and got going, it kind of backfired them, and they were kind of just treading water at that point. And then you had Will Johnson didn't play, Josiah Stewart didn't play, Samantha Morgan didn't play. And they all, according to Sharon, was dealing with minor injuries, so they just thought they could win this game. But that goes to show you that no matter who you're playing, you got to keep your foot on the gas for the rest of that game. And they just didn't. But like I said, Alex Georgie can't throw the football right now. That game changed once he won the third quarter when they had the ball. He dropped back to throw, and instead of throwing inside the numbers, he throws in the middle of the field with a single high safety, and it gets picked trying to get to Coast and Loveland. So that's still a work in progress. They're gonna have to be a lot better if they want to beat some of these better teams in the Big Ten that they're gonna play. Starting with Washington. Washington's not that good this year, but we all know going into Husky Stadium on the road, it's gonna be loud, it's gonna be rocking. It's a Saturday night game on NBC. I'm sorry. So it's gonna be rocking in there. I think they can go in there and get the win, but it's gonna be tough. All their games this season that they win are gonna just be slobber knockers because they just have no explosiveness on offense. If Khalil Mullins isn't getting a big run or Donovan Edwards, there's nothing. They're not getting anything from the passing game. It did help with Coast and Loveland getting back there, but if the quarterback can't put the ball in the money, then it's going to be a long season. It's one of those things, man. I've said it time and time again, and it's not going to change till next season, but should have went in the portal and got a quarterback. Should have went in the portal and got a quarterback. Reid knows what we're talking about with his Florida State team, so it's just a shame right now. Some of these bad offenses. Look at Auburn right now, just about as bad as Michigan. Don't have a quarterback, but I believe Michigan has a little more stability. But all in all, I mean, they did what they did to do. Like I said, it's going to be an ugly win, but they got the win. But it got to be much more improvement because, like we talked about, Indiana's better. I know Illinois lost to Penn State, but they're still a formidable team. You got Oregon coming in a month. That's going to be tough. And we all know they got to finish the season at Ohio State, who looks like a steamboat right now. So there's got to be room for more improvement. So, but I expected it.
Yeah, Indiana's 5-0.
Yeah, we were
fighting Segnetis.
We were talking about Michigan State's schedule being hard the next couple of days. I mean, Washington is what it is. You do have to travel out there. They're 3-2, but I mean, obviously traveling. Night game, traveling across the country is tough. But after that, you have Illinois, Michigan State, who I think is going to give you a harder run for your money than you think they will, even though
I guarantee
spank them. But and then you have Oregon coming home, and then you have to go to Indiana, who again is a great team. I think people are on them. And Northwestern, I think, will be an easy game for you guys to win. And then at Ohio State, I think. So they have a really tough schedule. And like Adrian said, if you can't get over 100 yards passing in a game is crazy. Granted, you may not need to do that if you're running all over the place, but you're going to run into some teams that are not going to allow you to run the ball like you're running it. So they're going to have to figure out some sort of way to score in those games where they need to pass it. And yeah, I don't know. I just think games like Michigan State are going to be tough. Oregon's definitely going to be a hard game. And then Ohio State, I think, is just a juggernaut this year for the Big Ten. So it'll be interesting to see where they land. I mean, I think I've said the whole year, I said I could see on the high end 8, low end 7 wins. So I'm still going to stick right there. And you've got to see if they can pull out a few more wins and get lucky. I mean, that Minnesota game was 3 points. That onside kick, I still don't think that it should have been called for offsides, but just so happened to go that way. I mean, we've all been rooting for a team that it goes their way. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen this next, like Adrian said, month. It's going to come up.
Real quick to say that, I'm gonna ask both of you guys this question real quick. Is it just me, or is the officiating not only in the NFL bad, but it's bad? It's been real bad in college.
Yeah, it's been really bad in college, I think.
Yeah, for sure. That game, man, the offense is just super frustrating. Like it seemed like they wanted to set the tone. They came out very first play of the game, passing the ball. It seemed like they wanted to set the tone, but man, it helped that leveling was back, but still a lot of sloppiness. As you guys know, I was there. I was sitting right behind Michigan's bench.
Yeah.
I don't know if they showed it on TV or not, but there was a point where the offense wasn't lined up right at one time, and Sharon Moore had to call a timeout. He really cut into him and let him have it. I don't know if they showed that on TV or not, but he was real frustrated. To end the game when they went to kneel down, snapped the ball over Orgy's head. It's just a lot of sloppiness. Like they got to clean a lot of this stuff up, especially going on the road. So I'm interested to see how they look these next 2 games on the road.
Hey, Raj, since you were there, tell me what did the sideline look like? Were guys excited to be there? Was the morale high? Was it low? What do you think?
Yeah, it seemed like it was high, but I mean, a lot of their studs weren't playing either. Will Johnson, Samaj, all those guys, they were all suited up. They just weren't playing, so they all had their uniforms on. But I guess they kind of took Minnesota for granted a little bit.
Yeah,
but
I definitely did.
Underestimated them.
Yeah, definitely did. I guess Sharon thought he could just sweet guy. These guys are dealing with minor injuries, but hey, he figured, hey, I can get him rest against a Minnesota team. Minnesota probably definitely took that personally and was like, hey, you're not just gonna walk all over us, and that's what happened. So
I'm very interested to see, because I think they're going to make one. I just don't know who the opponent would be. I'm very interested to see what they're going to look like in a bowl game this year. Because I don't think they're making the playoff, because I think teams in the Big Ten, I think there's going to be other teams in the Big Ten that will probably end up with a better record. I think Indiana will probably end up with a better record. I think Penn State might end up with a better record, and then obviously Ohio State. But I wonder what it would come across if they won 7 or 8 games, what bowl game they would play, who they'd be playing against.
that'd probably be a Mountain West team or a low level SEC team or a Big 12 team. But I think the only gimme game on their schedule right now, and not to insult this, yeah, they're not good. So I think that's about the only game on the schedule I think Michigan can play. Just do what they want to Northwestern, because Northwestern's not good.
Yeah. So Adrian at Washington Saturday. Washington 2.5-point favorite. How you see that one going?
It's tough. I think they find a way to go up there and get a win. I think you have to win this game. I know Washington's thinking revenge from the national championship game, but we talk about Michigan losing almost their entire team. Washington lost, I think, 18 or 19 starters from that team, and I don't think
and the head coach.
And the head coach. Well, I don't think Will Howard's that good. They actually have a really good running back. I watched him last week against Rutgers. He had like 180 yards. He's kind of gashing Rutgers a little bit, but I do think Michigan finds a way to go up there and win. I say they win 23-20.
Yeah, there's something about I've had this feeling kind of all year, and I don't know what it is about it. I just think that for some reason, going out to Washington, having to play there, like you said, I mean, it's a revenge game, obviously, but Michigan probably wants to beat them again, too, just for that. I just think that, I don't know. I think Washington can pull this one out after seeing what happened with Minnesota. I definitely think they can pull it out. Do I think they're going to win by some astronomical number? No. I could see it being, 3 points is basically what you're getting, right? 2.5. Yeah. I'd probably risk it and go with that, because I just think that there's the way that unless Michigan figures out how to pass the ball, which I'm not saying that, Washington's any world beaters, but I think they're going to definitely be able to plan and think, this team's, hasn't even passed for over 100 yards in the last 200 yards in the past 4 games, let alone are they going to do it against us? I don't think so. I think they'll plan for the run, and I think Washington can battle going into their home turf, late game out west. I'll take Washington and that spread. Or those points.
Yeah, I see a low-scoring game here. I think Washington wants their revenge. Michigan's passing offense been very anemic. I'm going with Washington 20-16. I'm taking Washington by 4 points.
Only reason I say they find a way to win, because they got their guys they really need back this week. Will Johnson, Josiah Stewart, Samad. I think they just find a way to. I think they run a couple trick plays and get a couple explosive plays. I still don't think a lot of teams want to stop Michigan's run, but Michigan's still finding a way to be able to punch them off on the ground. But they've got to throw for. I believe he's got to throw for 120 You should be able to do it. You got to figure it out. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, well, Samaj Morgan and Will Johnson and the boys come back. That's going to help for sure. So if they want to win this game, Donovan Edwards needs to get in the end zone, and Will Johnson and another pick six would definitely help for sure. All right. So Reid, you got MSU, Michigan State at Oregon this Friday. That's 9 p.m. on Fox. Oregon, a 24-point favorite in that one. Do you see Oregon cover?
Well, what were they against UCLA? They were like 30-something against UCLA. Or, yeah, wasn't that who they just played this last week? Oh, it's so tough because it seems like Oregon's defense was kind of letting up at the end of the game. So maybe if they're ahead enough, they won't. No, I think Michigan's going to – I think Michigan State can battle back. I think they'll lose by like 20. If they lose by a lot, I think it's going to be like 20-21. I don't think they're going to lose by that much, but I don't think they're going to win by any means unless Aiden Childs stops turning the ball over. You know, maybe they can figure it out. The defense has been solid when they play, but just not enough to stop that Oregon offense, I don't think. And Aiden just turns the ball over far too much for them to gain back any ground. So I don't see them winning. So I'll take Oregon, but they won't cover the spread.
I agree. I think Oregon wins convincingly, but I believe they win by 3 touchdowns. 24 is a lot because you're looking for a backdoor recovery. Because what happens if they let the foot off the gas, like Reid said? I don't think Michigan State played terribly last week against Ohio State. I think Aiden Childs is a little better, but they're just outmatched by Ohio State. Ohio State is just a much better football team at this point in time. So, you know, they battled for about that first quarter or so, and then Ohio State was able to just dominate that game the second and third quarter and kind of let their foot off the gas in that fourth quarter. So I believe Oregon does dominate them easily, but it's a Michigan State team who's just trying to get better each week. But Childs has to not turn the football over.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing right there. He seems like he's throwing at least 2 picks a game. So if he has 2 picks, multiple turnovers in this game, Oregon's going to end up covering. But if he can hang down on the turnovers, I like Michigan to cover the spread about 20, 21 points. So yeah, that game Friday, 9 p.m. on Fox.
8 interceptions by Childs this year.
Man, how many touchdown passes?
5.
Oh man, that's not good.
I will say, like, I mean, not like it helps, but I think 2 of those. One, he was tackled and the ball came out and it landed in the lap of the player when they played. Was that Maryland? Who'd they play after Maryland? Is it Maryland that they played?
Yeah, that was it wasn't Boston. It was Prairie View A&M, I believe.
Yeah, Prairie View. That's what it was. Yeah, Prairie View. It fell right into his lap. And then there was another one that he had that was weird this year. I mean, granted, he's still. Even if you take away those 2, he's still throwing 6, which is bad.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll see what he does. How he looks out there Friday. Big test going on the road. All right. Reid, you got number 15 Clemson at Florida State. Clemson 14-point favorite in this one.
Nope. I'd take that. Make it 20 and a half. I might even go higher on that, but just to be safe, I'd go 20 and a half. Listen, I told everybody to take SMU at 13 and a half, and I kind of wish I would have gone with my gut and told everybody to take them at 21 and a half like I wanted to do. But yeah, I think Clemson's as good of a team as SMU can. You know, obviously they're ranked. I know Adrian doesn't like Klubnik that much, but I think Florida State's so bad that anybody could put up 50 points on them any day of the week. Again, we know DJ U's going to be out. He's horrible anyway, but now you have a true freshman starting and Luke Kromenhoek, so it's going to be a tough one. I don't see them winning, especially with a true freshman. A lot of injuries to the running back room. They lost Wardell Williams. They lost Lucas. We have, the line doesn't look great. It's just a lot. A lot is bad. So, yeah, I would take Clemson, and I would take them at 20 and a half.
Yeah. This, like I said, this Florida State team, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. They've quit. They pretty much just laid in there. They don't even want to be there already. We're only a month into the season, so I think that the Clemson Steams rolls them easily. I don't like Klubnik, but I will give him credit. He's played well since they lost to Georgia. I believe he has like 16 touchdowns in that span, total touchdowns, and Clemson's offense has been on fire. Is what I expected to see. I know Dabo is up in South Carolina cheesing right now. He wants to prove everybody wrong, but um, it looks like it's Clemson and Miami right now in the ACC. They're destined to meet at this point in time. So I think they steamboat Florida State because Florida State's just lifeless right now.
Yeah, I showed you guys before this happened. They've lost three top recruits that they've had. The top edge rusher. They just lost a top wide receiver prospect. It's getting bad, and I don't see any signs of it getting any better because they can't win, and it's just gross. It really is. It's despicable.
Yeah. All right, so Saturday you got Iowa at Ohio State, Adrian. Ohio State 21-point favorite in that one. How do you see that one going?
I think they win. I think they cover. I definitely think they do. They're on a roll right now. I think they'll catch the momentum and continue to be dominant because I'd say Iowa might keep it close for a quarter or two, but they're gonna try to slow the game down. Like you said, Iowa doesn't have the explosiveness. They're playing Michigan ball, but playing better right now at this point in time. Caleb Johnson is their best player. He was leading the country in rushing before Ashton Genty just decided to just become a maniac. But I think, like I said, I think it'll be close. I think it'll be close for a half, and then I think Ohio State pulls away in that second half and wins by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think Ohio State will cover that. I mean, Iowa's defense is good, but Ohio State's a different animal. They're a juggernaut, that two-headed monster they had. Even though Judkins couldn't get into the end zone last week to save my parlay, which would have been a nice little payout from that. And again, you guys saw, I'm still salty about it. Lost 3 of those parlays that would have paid out nice. But, yeah, I think that they're just you have Ibuka, you have Smith, you have that two-headed monster. No matter how much I don't like Will Howard, I still think that he's serviceable enough to beat an Iowa team. And I think Ohio State's defense is obviously just, when it comes to defenses, Iowa's is always up there. I think Ohio State's is up there enough to take care of this Iowa offense. So I think Ohio State will win this game, and I think they'll cover the points.
Yeah, I think Iowa keeps it close early. They're going to try to run the ball with Caleb Johnson. And then second half, I look for Ohio State to pull away. But I'm taking Iowa to cover. I'm taking Ohio State by 20 points. 20 points. All right, Reid, let's get Reid's current Heisman front runner list. Let's get Reid's week. What week are we in, Adrian?
We're in week 5.
This will be. It was just week 4. We're going into week 5.
Okay, so let's get Reid's current week 5 Heisman list.
So it was a shakeup from last week, and this might be a little bit of me. And Adrian feels this way too, of just kind of getting sick and tired of quarterbacks winning it. Granted, this could all change by the end of the season, but I'm tired of quarterbacks, it being 4 or 5 quarterbacks in New York. I think that should be mandatory. If you want to send them, send 2. But yeah, so this is kind of my and I also think it's still a fine list, even though it's not all quarterbacks. But I'm going to go from 5 to 1. I think that's the best way to do it. So starting off the list at 5, having an amazing game. Actually having an amazing season so far, but one of the youngest players, I think the youngest player, and Ryan Williams. I think he deserves to be up there. He has 16 catches for 462 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's averaging almost 29 yards per reception. He has less catches with more yards and touchdowns than Ibuka and Smith from Ohio State. I think he had. I wish I had it pulled up and I forgot. He's had a touchdown or more in every single game that he's played this year. He had 2, I think, against Western Kentucky to start the year. So he's having a phenomenal year in an offense that, Jalen Milroe obviously runs a lot, but when he passes the ball, it's either to Ryan Williams or many other weapons that have in Alabama. I put him at 5. I think he's warranted that. He's probably the best wide receiver right now in NCAA. He's top 3 if you want to put him in there. But Coming in at number 4, I have Cam Ward. He played a little bit of a shaky game against Virginia Tech, which everybody thought that was going to be a blowout the way that Miami's been playing. But, I mean, credit to Cam Ward. He still played, well. Just you'd think that he would play a little bit better. He had 2 interceptions that game, I believe. He's got 1,782 yards. We'll call it 1,800 yards on the season through 4 weeks, which is insane to me. And with 18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, he's second in QBR at 92.7. So, I mean, great stats, obviously. He's, comes from that air raid offense at Washington State when he was there before. Number 3, I'm going to give it to Jalen Milroe just because of what he's done. He, went in and he played into Wisconsin, beat them there. Not like Wisconsin's world beaters, but it's hard to play at Camp Randall, that atmosphere. He just beat Georgia. I think the defense really kind of didn't help Jalen Milroe in that game, allowing Georgia to come back and have it be so close, although they did help him in the end when, got the stop and Alabama got the ball back. But, yeah, Milroe's got 964 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, 273 yards rushing with 8 rushing touchdowns. So he's got 18 total touchdowns, tied with Cam Ward of that. We all know that he's not going to pass as much. He's going to have more of those rushing stats, being that dual threat kind of guy. And number 2, this guy's been tearing it up, and the only reason that he's at 2 is because of where he plays. And Ashton Jeanty is a freak. Being at Boise hurts him a little bit. You're not playing with the best competition, but when he ran for 24 carries for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns or whatever it was last week is insane. He's got 82 carries, 845 yards, 13 touchdowns. That's already less carries, but more yards and touchdowns than season when he was started at Boise State, and he's on track to potentially beat his last year's rushing numbers in the next 2 games, possibly the next 1 game. I think it's 1,300 yards rushing, so it's going to probably be 2, which is crazy to me. And then at number 1, we talked about him last week. I think he should have been higher on the list last week. I'll put my hand up, but I think number 1 is Travis Hunter. Granted, again, not playing the best competition, but for a guy who plays on both sides of the field, he's on track for 100 receptions. He's got 46 catches already, 561 yards, 6 receiving touchdowns, 3 pass defenses, 1 forced fumble, and 2 interceptions. He's been playing amazing, and I think he's probably played 95% of the snaps, if not 98% of the snaps, in a total in all their games. So I think it would be refreshing to get a guy like Travis Hunter into the Heisman and win the Heisman, just because I think he's just electric on both sides of the ball. You look at a guy like that. I mean, you're playing that good wide receiver. You're playing that good defensively, especially, again, playing 98% of the game. You got to look at that guy and say that he's definitely the favorite to win the Heisman right now.
Wow, Reid, I can only say I agree with this wholeheartedly. I mean, I have no gripes about it. I think I might have Jalen Milroe too. With the way he's playing right now and that big win that they got over Georgia, he's been impressive. I know Ryan Williams has been a product of the big time Yak plays, but Jalen Milroe has been playing phenomenal. He could possibly be QB1 off the board in the NFL draft next year because he's a dual threat guy. So I'm impressed with the list. Ashton Jeanty, finally people are seeing it. Hopefully Boise State can find a way to get into the college football playoff. We can just see how good he is. I believe he has 3 200-yard games this year already. Mm-hmm. So I know they play late a lot of times, but I stay up and find myself watching them and just amazed. This dude,
it's like he's that good.
A first-round pick. He's going to be a first-round pick. He's going to be a top 15 pick. There's no doubt about it in my mind.
So I wanted to tell you guys this, and then, Raaj, you can respond to the list if you like. It started out the season with Carson Beck being 1 and Quinn Ewers being 2 of the betting favorites for Heisman. Jalen Milroe moved up to 1 at plus 220. Hunter's 3 at plus 380. And Ashton Jeanty moved up from way down the list. He was like 10, 11, 12. He was like plus, I think it was like, last I looked, when I first looked in the beginning, or the first game of the season, plus 4,000. Then he was plus, after 3 games in the season, he was plus 2,200. He's moved all the way up to plus 1,000 for the Heisman. Going over Beck Gabriel, Nico, and Quinn Ewers. He's fourth right now on betting favorites, which is crazy to me. I would throw a little bit on the plus 1,000 just for, kind of a crazy future, because if he beats Barry Sanders' record, he has to be given the Heisman, unless Travis Hunter goes out there and does something crazy like, double-digit touchdowns with 1,000 yards receiving and 5 or 6 interceptions. I think that would solidify it for him. But if you rush for 2750, I think it's 2709 or whatever for Barry. That would just blow. That'd be crazy, especially in an era when running backs are kind of an afterthought nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look at these guys and you barely get drafted in the first round unless you're a Bijan, and Gibbs was kind of a shocker that he got drafted in the first round. But you look at running backs nowadays, they don't get drafted in the first round that often anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like what he's doing a lot, but Milroe, if he stays playing the way he's playing, and then plus going against the competition they're playing against, you just beat Georgia, the number 2 team. If they get through Tennessee, I just think their strength of schedule, all in all, the wins are going to be more impressive. So I think if Milroe can stay on this path that he's on now, I'll probably run with Milroe.
I agree. The only argument I'll make for Genty is that, yes, the competition is not as bad, but Genty will probably be the sole reason that Boise State makes it into the playoff if they make the playoff. So that would be my counter argument to the Milroe thing, which I do agree with you. But I'm just saying a devil advocate of it is if Boise State does make the college football playoff, it'll probably only be because Ashton Genty ran for 3,000 yards on a season.
For sure. David with a comment here. He said Mullings should be in the Heisman race.
No.
No.
That's my team. Hey guys, real quick, I want to give you an interest that while you was talking, I was looking at this. I'm gonna ask you guys if you tell me. I'm looking at the passing numbers for leaders in the country for teams. How bad do you think Michigan is at passing? What do you think they're averaging passing yards per game? I'm looking at it now.
Per game?
Passing yards per game has to be I'm gonna say like 33.
I'm gonna say 22.
They are fifth worst in the country in passing yards per game, and 2 of those schools are service academies, and the only other teams that are above them that were worse than them are UL Monroe and New Mexico State, and they're averaging 115 passing yards per game. They have 577 passing yards in 5 games. So that's
I was way low on that.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't really understand I was gonna say, are you talking about total in college football? I was gonna say they got to be down in the bottom 10.
They're in the bottom 5.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Horrible. So yeah, we'll see if the offense passing game looks any better against Washington. All right, so yeah, did want to switch over to the NFL. So Reid, the Lions beat the Seahawks yesterday, 42-29. Look good doing it. Goff 18 of 18, no incompletions. What was your takeaways from this Lions game?
Yeah, I think for the Lions, they started. It's so weird that the way that this is going, because it almost turned into like the beginning of the season was like Ben Johnson was Aaron Glenn, and his offense wasn't firing on all cylinders, and they weren't playing great. And then it just flipped back to water found its level, and they're back to where Aaron Glenn's side of the ball just can't seem to stop him. I mean, Geno looked like Patrick Mahomes yesterday, the way he was escaping the pocket, the way he was making throws downfield. I mean, just everything he was doing was pretty incredible. And I'm not a big Geno guy, but they looked great. Ken Walker was unstoppable, even though I'm surprised he only rushed for 80 yards. I thought he ran for more than that. That acrobatic flip that he did with Anzalone, you have 3 touchdowns. That being said, the Lions played great. The offense was unstoppable. If you play play your offense like that at every game, it doesn't matter what your defense plays like. If you're scoring 50 points a game, the other team's probably not going to catch you at 50 points a game. So I liked the offense. I liked that they got the passing game more involved. I think J-Mo needs to get a little bit more involved because he had the big play. That's what he is, but throw him more crossing routes because he played great that first game of the season. St. Brown kind of found his way back. He's played well, but he had the injury against the Bucs. Laporta kind of found a way back in this game, made some big plays. Obviously didn't score a touchdown, but he was there when you needed him. They had that safety blanket role. And then what else can you say? You have this two-headed monster, the best running back duo in all of the NFL. I don't care what anybody says. There's no one better than Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. That play he did on Witherspoon where he just took his soul and then beast quaked it, for 40 yards or whatever it was incredible. I said this to you guys earlier. I am very confident that they're going to go into Jerry's world against a hurt Cowboys team, and they're going to win when they get back off this bye week. Hopefully, off the bye week, you get, obviously Brian Branch, you get back. I think if he probably won't be back because that'll be, 3 weeks? He just got put on IR, and you have to be on the mandatory 4. But that's fine. You get Branch back. The one thing I need, and I know it might be asking too much because he's a rookie, I need Terrion Arnold to stop committing so many penalties. You got to – one of these, veteran DBs has to talk to him and tell him, hey, listen, calm down. Don't get so handsy. I know you have to realize you're playing the hardest position in all of this sport and potentially any other of the 4 major sports. Cornerback's so hard, and especially nowadays when it's so heavily weighted towards an offense and towards a receiver, you can't put your hands on them. So that's the only thing I want to see. He had 3 flags in that game. I think he has a total of 8 on the season, 8 penalties. I think 6 of them were pass interference or something like that. So if he cleans it up, I'll be fine with it. Jack Campbell looks great. Jack Campbell's coming into his own with Derek Barnes being out. He looked better than Anzalone yesterday by any stretch of the imagination. So it's encouraging. Hopefully they can just continue to keep the offense this hot.
Jack Campbell does a lot of the dirty work, but doesn't always get a lot of the recognition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. He's like the definition of, they have the same last name, but he's the definition of a Campbell guy. Like he's just dirty work, like you said, dirty work, but doesn't need the credit. And that's the way he acts too. If you hear that guy talk, he's just like this, Midwestern, psychopath that decided to play middle linebacker and just goes out there. And that's if he wasn't doing this, he'd be like working on an oil rig in Iowa or like a corn farm.
Yeah, I'm impressed with the defense. I think they're playing well. I do think they need to find a way to go get Aiden some help before the trade deadline, help him get some pressure off. He played well. He got some pressure yesterday, especially that play where he blew up on the goal line. He blew up the left tackle and pushed him in to the back foot off Kenneth Walker, hit him and bounced off. That's just a great play by Kenneth Walker. That shows you how good he was that year at Michigan State, where he should have been a Heisman finalist. But Kirby Joseph continues to just play well, man. He just knows how to find the football. Like you said, I believe Terry Arnold will be okay. Joey Porter from my Steelers suffered the same problems coming out of college and a little bit into the season last year. You just gotta stop being so handy. Trust your technique, trust your instincts, and you'll be fine. So even the refs were calling that tight yesterday. They called a lot of penalties on Carlton Davis as well, and he was not happy after the game. He's probably going to get a fat fine coming from the league. But overall defense, good job. This rivalry with Seattle is just weird. Every time these teams play, it's almost a track meet. It's just very tough for whatever reason. And Geno Smith now leads the league in passing yards. So I'm fine. He had all those yards, but he had to throw the ball over 50 times. So you can live with that. Offensively, Ben Johnson's making it simple. Hand the football off to Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, and let's not make this too complicated. Let what Jared Goff does best: play action, get him in the pocket, get the ball out. We can run the football. You see, J-Mo gets open on the over route, boom, catches it, takes it to the house. St. Brown playing well. Laporta, that was his best game of the season yesterday. I think they're clicking. They're figuring it out. Just run the football, be physical. That's what the Dan Campbell team needs to do, and then you can open it up and be physical on offense, and then defense take care of itself. I just think it's they're finding different ways to win football games and getting back to the basics right now. So Jared Goff going 18-18 is crazy. Was it 292, I believe? And that never thought Jared Goff would outrun anybody to the end zone. So that was a good little clever trick in the book by Ben Johnson. So just overall a good win, doing what they need to do. And now they're going to their bye week. It's a weird time to have the bye week super, super early. I'd prefer to have it in the middle of the season, but they do got some guys banged up. Let's get some guys healthy, get back on track, focus, and then get ready for. They got Dallas in a couple weeks, so. But don't worry, my Steelers will take care of them coming up this week. So, we'll
soften them up.
Yeah, we'll prime them up for you guys. So, but overall, good win for the Lions. I heard Colin Cowherd say some crazy stuff earlier on this show, man. Come on, man. But
what did he say?
He was basically saying that it's a red flag for. Even though the Lions won, it was a red flag because he said good teams always find a way to win the same, which I totally disagree with. Said when the Chiefs win, it's always the same game. When the Ravens win, it's always the same game. The old Patriots win, it's the same game. Hey, it's the NFL, man. Some weeks you're not gonna have your best stuff. So if you find a way to win, you win a defensive struggle, you win a shootout. Sometimes that's just the way it is. So good teams find a way to make adjustments and can control games, no matter what direction it's going in. Rather, the refs are calling it tight, so you got to be a little more. You got to be a little better. Your run game's not working. The pass game's working. Do it. Pass game's not working. Run the football if it's working. Do what's working that day. It just is what it is.
Yeah,
He also said something along the lines of okay, Dan Campbell, stop being the rah guy. It's time to be an Andy Reid. It's like what does that even mean? Like literally, this is who Dan Campbell is, and he's advertised as for the last 3 years. Like you don't just like when Andy Reid's been I'm the cheeseburger guy on the sidelines. I'm the walrus. I'm the guy who just sits there and isn't vocal about anything. Belichick was the cranky old man. I mean, you get all these head coaches that have their own personas. Stop trying to make just because the Chiefs are so good. Stop trying to make every other team be like the Chiefs. It's just not the way that they are. I mean, different organizations have different coaches have different philosophies. It's just I can't stand Colin Cowherd though. He's just the worst. I can't stand him. Him and Skip Bayless are the two worst people on TV ever.
Yeah, Skip Bayless is on TV anymore, so that's good for us.
Yeah, exactly. Colin Cowherd should follow in his footsteps and leave too.
Yeah, for him trying to be negative after that game, that's crazy because the Lions look really good to me. They're kicking on all cylinders. Lots of firepower from the offense. The running backs look good. J-Mo, St. Brown got touchdowns. Laporta, Brock Wright, both your tight ends got involved. Both didn't have an incomplete pass. So, I mean, to find something negative from that game is crazy. The Lions look really good to me.
I agree.
And I'm mad that I got Kenneth Walker in fantasy and I didn't start him last night. That's frustrating too.
Come on, Raaj. Come on, man.
No, that's all right. I left Jaden Reed on one of my benches, so.
I got Gibbs, so I had to in both my leagues. So, you had to make it right. Hey guys, real quick.
My nephew let me down.
Shaky, just coming back from an injury, I didn't know how he was going to look.
And against the number 3 rush defense in the NFL. Yeah. My nephew got hurt, so that ruined my fantasy week because he got me 0 points. So
4-0 in both leagues, fellas. 4-0.
There you go.
Okay.
4-0. Hey, real quick before we move on probably to the Steelers, the Eagle fans are upset right now because of Michael Parsons and Darius Slay did a podcast together. Darius Slay went on his podcast and they were joking. The Eagle fans are pissed because they're saying there's no rivalries in football and fans are not happy. Eagle fans are nutcases, but I guess because it's the Cowboys and the Eagles. So what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I don't like it. It's in the middle of the season. I don't think an Eagles guy should be on the Cowboys podcast. It's a little too friendly for me. In the off season, I wouldn't have minded, but during the season, I don't like it.
I'm right there with you.
It's something I don't like. The only thing about it is Darius Slay has been the type of guy to go on podcasts like that all the time. And Darius Slay also has seemed checked out for the last 2 years in football. So I think that he doesn't really care. If this was Jalen Carter, I would probably be okay, that's obviously Jalen Carter isn't a big talking guy like Darius Slay, but I'm just saying if it was one of your newer guys that's going to plan on being there for a while, or Jordan Davis or I don't know, one of your bigger. If Jalen Hurts went on there, I would agree with you. But Darius Slay, yeah, someone like that. I mean, yeah, exactly. Quinyon Mitchell to equate the positions, but Darius Slay's always been like that. I think he's done after the next year or two anyway, and they hate Nick Sirianni. The whole team hates Nick Sirianni. He's like their
done.
Matt Patricia right now. So the Eagles, I think, are cooked. I don't think the Eagles make the playoffs, to be honest.
I think McCarthy's going to be on his way out after this season. Cowboy fans are going to run him out the door. I think Brian Dable's job's on the line right now. Daniel Jones is awful. And then Sirianni, yeah, like you said, everybody hates him. Philly is a tough place to play. I think the guy just doesn't know what he's doing, honestly, at this point in time. But
and Doug Peterson, you forgot about him in Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I mean, Jacksonville's just not good as it is, but yeah.
The thing is that team doesn't. They have some solid players on the roster. I don't know what it is. I think Jacksonville's just cursed, man.
Yeah, they got a talented roster. You got a good coach. You're in the winnable division. They just can't get out their own way. All right, so Adrian, the Raiders announced they're opening to trade Davante Adams. So who? I think we know your answer, but who do you think should make this move for Davante Adams?
Hey, you know that was gonna be my first answer, but the reason I believe that, as the people who listen may not know, I am a big time Steelers fan, so I do believe that could work. I know he's 33. He's old. I think 30. He would take a $35 million cap hit. Let me double check that, but he's a vet. He wants to play for a good quarterback. I think he definitely would play with Justin Fields. He would come to the Steelers, play with Mike Tomlin and company. Be a very good fit. He's a vet. You don't have to baby him. Put him alongside George Pickens, and then hopefully Roman Wilson can get active and finally play. I don't know what they're doing with him right now. It's very frustrating, very concerning. But if it wasn't the Steelers, I would say New York Jets easily. Go back and reunite with your boy A-Rod. Mike Williams, I know he's come off the ACL, but he just doesn't look like it. Garrett Wilson's struggling right now to put into that Jets offense. But I think Saleh is just asking to be fired because he doesn't know what he's doing either. But I think either the Steelers or the Jets, I think, would be the best logical locations for Davante. I don't think he wants to go to Buffalo. He doesn't look like a Buffalo guy, but those two teams would be the teams I'm zeroing in on. And the Raiders are saying that they would take a second-round pick in compensation, which leads me to believe if you throw them a third-round pick and a second or third-round pick next year, they're taking that easily because obviously they want to move off from Davante Adams for whatever reason. They believe in Brock Bowers that much, I guess. But if I'm him, I don't want to play for that franchise. They've been an abomination for the last 20 years, so they haven't done anything of relevancy. They're always making knucklehead decisions, especially with draft picks and moving through coaches and things like that. So, yeah, get me out of there.
Yeah, I mean, I would obviously say the logical thing is the Jets. I would hate it just because it would make me think like it's rigged getting him back with Aaron Rodgers. Like the NFL did that for make it like a soap opera, really. But the Jets could do it. I mean, they have Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard's killing it this year, but they have Garrett Wilson, not much else. I think maybe I know that he played with him while he was on the Raiders, but I think maybe you could reunite him with Derek Carr again and the Saints. The Saints need wide receivers other than Olave. I mean, I guess Rashid Shaheed's come into it. Steelers obviously makes sense. As long as he doesn't go to Minnesota and Chicago, I don't really care. Yeah, I think those make the most sense. I'm trying to think of kind of another wide receiver needy team. Arizona, but they're not really competing all that much. But Arizona could be good. Him and Marvin.
What about
Washington?
the Chargers?
Washington.
The Chargers would work. Hear me out. You have guys that are going to be injured for a long time. The Rams don't care about their picks. You could send them to the Rams with Stafford, even though they're not in a winning position right now, but they could be. I mean, even if Puka and Cooper Kupp come back, you have those three are pretty crazy. I don't like Indy. That would be a bad spot for him. Yeah, I think the Rams would be a pretty good spot in that, and Sean McVay's offense. The Jets, I think, are probably one of the most logical because it's just Aaron Rodgers and they need help at wide receiver. I don't know much about the Steelers' ownership or the GM if they're willing to get rid of their picks, but I think again that's another logical place that he could end up. But I think it's going to be the Jets or I think the Saints. I think he's going to try and reunite with one of his old quarterbacks.
Yeah,
well, San Diego's up 3-0 on Atlanta.
He's on the third year of a 5-year $140 million deal he signed in 2022 after he was traded. He's 30. He's 31. He'll be 32 in December. Actually Christmas Eve. So 30. He's owed 16 million his base salary this year, but there's a potential out in his contract after in 2025. So if you trade him, I think you could make it work. You make the numbers work. So
You guys want to hear something crazy that I was talking to my coworkers about today? Hendon Hooker has been in the league for, this will be going to year 2. This will be year 2 for him, I'm sorry. He is 7 months younger than Sam Darnold.
holy smokes.
And Sam Darnold has been in the league for 7 years. And Joe Burrow is also older than Sam Darnold. But he's been in the league for 5 years. I looked both those up today. So that's pretty interesting.
Crazy.
Interesting. So Adrian, your Steelers, they lost to the Colts 24-27. Joe Flacco had to come in. I think Tomlin announced that Fields is going to be the starter moving forward or whatever. So where are you at the Steelers right now? This whole quarterback situation, they keep announcing, denouncing. Where are you at with all that?
It's a Mike Tomlin thing, man. He's one of the best talkers at the podium. He knows what he's doing. I believe in his heart he realizes that Justin Fields needs to be QB1, but he's not gonna say he's gonna keep it close to the vest because he doesn't want to give up all his secret sauce, whatever he does. He says these crazy things, but right now just keep rocking with Justin until he keeps winning or until he's playing bad. But I don't think he is. I think he's matured. He only has 2 turnovers on the season. He made that bad mistake in the pocket where he takes a sack and then he fumbles, takes us out of field goal range. I think they got off to too slow of a start on Sunday. Knocked Anthony Richards out the game, but Joe Flacco, we know he's a vet, he's savvy. I think they'll be fine. Defense kind of let them down this game. It was just, for whatever reason, the Colts have the Steelers' number right now. I don't know what it is. Shane Steichen's played as well. He knows how to take advantage of our defense, whatever it is. But I came out this game feeling a lot better about Justin Fields and where he's going. He threw for 300. I know they got down, but he led back-to-back touchdown drives. Only with Najee Harris. We lost Cordell Patterson. Jalen Warren didn't play. He's still throwing the ball down the field to George Pickens, and this is why I said we need a number 2 receiver. He is throwing the ball in the middle of the field, the fire move, but you're not getting anything from Van Jefferson or Calvin Austin. Only had 1 catch. Roman Wilson's not active, so that goes to show you he's making it do it. We're banged up on the offensive line. We've got 3 guys. 5 of our top 10 linemen have been hurt already. We've got a couple guys out for the season. James Daniel just tore his Achilles. So that's bad. Nate Herbig's out for the season. Isaac Seumalo's not playing right now with a pec injury. So we're just battling. We got 2nd and 3rd year guys playing at the offensive line position. We got a rookie center. We're gonna have another rookie guard playing this week. So we're making do. And Justin Fields, I think, is doing a good job. So he should not get his spot taken. But I do believe they're going to beat the Dallas Cowboys. No DeMarcus Lawrence, who's on IR. Michael Parsons will probably be out a couple weeks with a high ankle sprain. So I think we have to win this game on Sunday. But being 3-1 after 4 games, I'm cool with it. I like where they're at, So I can't really complain too much.
Yeah, I think I know he rushed for 1,000 yards, I believe, all the seasons he's been here, but I think it's time to move on from Najee. I just don't think he's very good. I think he's consistent, but I think it's
you got my charger real quick. I'll be right back, guys. Go ahead.
A lot of it had to do with, I think, the offensive line for them. If I'm the Steelers, I'm probably trying to get rid of Najee so I don't have to pay him. I just don't think he's worth starting running back money. I mean, Jalen Warren showed you that he's good enough. You can always find running backs elsewhere. I think Justin Fields is the guy for them. I don't know why you would go to Russell Wilson. He's old. He can't move like Fields. He may have, he may be slightly more accurate, but I don't even know if that's the case. I think it all is going to stem from getting rid of Arthur Smith, to be honest with you. I don't think he's the offensive coordinator that they really need. I think they need to find, their Ben Johnson. I don't think it's Arthur Smith. I think once you find the guy that could treat Justin Fields like a more accurate, better throwing Lamar, I think that team will be really good. And I think Justin Fields will be even better.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, Raaj. Go ahead.
I was going to say, move on from Najee Harris. Go ahead, bring Ashton Genty in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not taking a running back in the first round, but no, you're right. I think Arthur Smith. I think Arthur Smith's fine. Nothing is worse than dealing with Matt Canada that we had to deal with Kenny Pickett all those years. I think you need to, like I said, give him another weapon at the wide receiver position because he's making it look good. He's doing a great job. You can tell he's mature. With the Najee thing, yeah, Najee needs a guy who's going to complement him. And I mean, they declined his fifth year option, so he'll be a free agent anyway. So this backfield can look
I would
completely
trade him
different.
before any of that happens if I'm them.
Yeah, I don't think they do it. I think he ultimately comes back, but it's going to be on a cheaper deal. So I think they find a way to keep him because they need some depth at running back right now. But we'll see what happens. He's doing a good job, but he didn't run the ball well, but he did. He had three catches, 51 yards in that game. So I think it's okay. But like I said, I think this
Patterson ran better than Najee did.
Yeah,
Before he got hurt.
and he gets hurts his ankle. So I don't know how long he's gonna be. I think he's gonna play Sunday, but just the injuries are just catching up. But they just gotta. Nobody's gonna feel bad for us, so you just gotta make do with it. Whole league's injured right now, so
Yeah, or maybe take a guy like Donovan Edwards in the later rounds if you're Pittsburgh.
I'm cool with some explosiveness. I'll take him.
Yeah. All right, last thing before we get to Adrian's top 5 list. So Reid, the Vikings currently 4-0, first place in the NFC North. Sam Darnold leads the league in touchdown passes at 11. So are you buying what this Vikings team is selling?
I mean, I think that they're a good team. I think you have Justin Jefferson. The defense is playing well. Everybody's giving Brian Flores his flowers for sure. I still don't think that they win the NFC North. I think they caught Green Bay off guard. Jordan Love was injured and out for a while. I think the next time they play them, Green Bay will give them a better run for their money, especially if Jordan Love's healthy. I think that us going up against them in 3 weeks? 4 weeks. Yeah, 4 weeks. A week.
The 20th.
Yeah, it's after Tennessee. So they play Dallas at the break or after the bye week, then Tennessee, then at Minnesota. So at Dallas, home Tennessee, at Minnesota. I think that's gonna be a really good game. I don't know if I would give Sam Darnold MVP. Might put him on a bet slip for comeback player of the year, but I'm not going to crown him the MVP just yet. I think that he's playing incredible, and I still think the Vikings are going to be a really good team, and I think they'll make the playoffs. But I don't think that Sam Darnold is going to be like an MVP by any means.
Reid, would you rather have Geno Smith or Sam Darnold right now?
I mean, right now, if I for the Lions, if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Sam Darnold. I feel like he would fit I feel like he'd complement it a little bit better. Geno, even though I think Geno's old. Geno's definitely older than Sam Darnold. I don't know what I'm talking about, but Geno being older, he still looks like he's more mobile than Sam Darnold. So I would take him for that reason. But I still think Sam Darnold is a better overall quarterback than Geno Smith is, skill wise.
Yeah, that's tough. I'd probably lean a little more towards Geno, but Sam Darnold is playing phenomenal. The Vikings they did a real deal because of this. Shows you how important coaching is. Look what Kevin O'Connell is doing for Sam Darnold. He's one of those guys who's an offensive guru. Brian Flores is rejuvenated his career in Minnesota. He's turned that defense. They don't have a stud guy on the team, but guys just keep playing hard for him. He's just a good coach. I think coaching right now is helping Minnesota win right now. They coach well. Offense is clicking right now. So they win in the North. I'm gonna still say no, but they're definitely making the playoffs right now. I think it's great, and I think it's also great for JJ that he gets the red shirt this year and just learn from Sam Darnold. And the team's gonna be good. They've got weapons everywhere offensively. Jordan Addison's back, so they'll be a legit contender. So it's just more a headache for the Lions because now they got to deal with the Vikings and they got to deal with the Packers. I'm not really worried about the Bears this year, but the NFC North is a good division, man.
I mean, it's crazy to think about too. I mean, Sam Darnold is what? So he's 7 years older than JJ because JJ's 20, right? He's not 21 yet, or did he turn 21?
He might have just turned 21.
Well, he's 6.5 years older than JJ, but still. So if Sam Darnold gets a contract for 4 years, that would put him at 31, and he could still even get another contract after that for another 4 years. I mean, you know, obviously, depending on situations, if he stinks, he's not going to get one, or if he gets injured, there's other situations. But I mean, if he plays well, it's like Hendon Hooker. Like, I mean, Jared Goff just got a contract, and his contract's going to be up when, you know, Jared Goff is 34 or whatever, 35, and Hendon Hooker is going to be, you know, 30 at that point. It's crazy to think about. I mean, I don't think that JJ is ever going to be, you know, get to the point where he doesn't start. But if Sam Darnold keeps playing the way he does, you know, JJ might be in the Jordan Love camp where he sits behind him for 4 years. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't see him beating him out of the job with the way Sam Darnold's playing anytime soon.
Yeah, Sam Darnold's 27.
How long is Darnold under contract with Minnesota for?
Just this 1 year to get him
1 year. He's probably he's probably going to get himself a nice contract on the market, so he might walk.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. He 100% is 100%.
Good contract on the market, he might walk. I think he's just going to. I think he'll take whatever Minnesota gives him because he's having his Jared Goff type season where it's, you know, Minnesota's accepted him for being, you know, a quarterback, a former number one pick, a guy that he wasn't first overall, was he in that draft? He was third.
I think he was like third. Yeah, I think he was third.
Okay, but still, I mean, a former first round high pick. He's playing really well. I think Minnesota is going to offer him a contract after this year as long as he keeps this up. If he turns back into a pumpkin, I mean, he might get another opportunity out of the market. But I think Minnesota, if he keeps playing the way that he's playing, or at least 75 to 80% of what he's playing, he's going to get a contract from Minnesota. Because he has it all made. You have great wide receivers. The offensive line is solid. Your defense is really good. There is nowhere else that's going to be that you're going to go that's going to offer you a contract that you're going to succeed this well at, especially with a coach and a defensive coordinator that's as good as in Minnesota. I wouldn't see him going anywhere else.
But would he be the guaranteed starter next year?
Yes, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, he will be a guaranteed starter.
Okay.
Even if he plays again to 75 to 80% of what he's playing right now, I think he'll be a guaranteed starter. There's no way JJ's beating him out after. First of all, JJ can't even throw a ball right now because didn't he blow his shoulder out?
No, it was his knee.
His knee. But still, I mean, he's not moving around, so he's probably not practicing all that much. But I think, no, I don't think JJ beats Darnold out anytime soon.
I agree.
Okay. All right, Adrian, did you ever find JJ's age?
He's 21. He's 21. His birthday is January 20th. So he just turned 21 in January.
Yeah.
He'll be 22 by the time next season starts.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, let's close it out with Adrian's top 5 list. Top 5 NFL teams.
All right. I did a lot of shuffling, a lot of moving around. This is my top 5 teams after week 4, going into week 5. All right, let's start off with you guys want me to start from 1, right?
No, start with 5.
All right, at 5, surprising team. I have the Washington Commanders at 5. Jaden Daniels is a rookie, man. He's been phenomenal. Let me tell you, they lost that first game in Tampa, but pulling off 3 straight wins. A win where they didn't score a touchdown against the Giants at home. Then they go on the road back-to-back, beat Cincinnati. Big win. He has a hell of a game. Outplays Joe Burrow. Then as we against the Arizona Cardinals, they just shellacked him 42-14, and he's just playing with so much confidence, so much swag. And this Washington team is actually a fun team to watch. I actually like watching them play football. At number 4, I have the Detroit Lions right now, 3-1. Big win last night on Sunday Night Football. Number 3, I have them ahead of the line just because they beat them head-to-head, and that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. Just relaxed the Philadelphia Eagles. Baker Mayfield has a great game, over 300 yards. For the first time, they are not number 1 this season. At number 2, that's the Kansas City Chiefs. Your boy Rashee Rice, man, goes down with the injury, trying to make a tackle. They still don't know the severity of his injury. So they're getting more tests, and I hate to see it happen to him. Patrick Mahomes loses another receiver. He's already down Hollywood.
It was his fault.
Yeah, that's the crazy
He wasn't
part.
trying to make a tackle, by the way. Rashee Rice was trying to punch the ball out. Mahomes just tackled the guy and blew out Rice's knee. Oh, it hurt my heart when I saw that live.
Yeah, he was on his way to a monster season.
Monster.
So now Kelsey and company have to step up. Maybe the the Raiders aren't getting Devontae Adams because the Chiefs aren't getting Devontae Adams. They're not trading in division, but they're gonna have to get another weapon that help Patrick Mahomes coming out. But at number one right now, playing in some of the best football in the NFL right now, that's the Minnesota Vikings. 4-0. They went into Green Bay and just jumped on Green Bay quick. I think Jordan Love coming back from that knee injury, being out a couple weeks, I think he was a little rusty. Footwork wasn't great, but Minnesota's just playing great on both sides of the football. And I can argue that Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores are the best coaching duo in the NFL right now, with offensively and defensively. So there you have it, boys. And then right outside, 6, 7, 8, I have the Bills, Texans, and Steelers right outside the top 5.
Yeah, I wouldn't have the Bucks at number 3. I'm sorry, they beat the Lions, but I just feel as though if the Lions were to play the Bucks again in the playoffs, Lions would beat them by like 7 to 10 points. They won that game, but I still think the Lions are better than the Bucks. So yeah, I don't like the Bucks at 3. And you were saying about the Ravens. That was an impressive win over the Bills on Sunday night. I got to put the Ravens in the top 5, top 6.
Yeah, they put together a couple consistent games. I need to see one more consistent game from them. So I'll have them. They're right there in that 5 to 9 range for me. So, but I can't argue that.
Yeah, again, and this is not me being a Lions homer whatsoever. I think the Bucks. You got to remember the Bucks lost 2 weeks ago to the Broncos, who are not a good team, with a rookie who had a rookie quarterback. They didn't just lose; they kind of got stomped by the Broncos. And then I think they just played two teams in the beginning of the season that just didn't really have it figured out. They played the Commanders, beat them by 17, and then obviously we know what happened with the Lions. So I still think they're a good team. I think they're a little high. I would put the Lions at 3 if I had to do the list. And then I probably would put the Ravens at. I'd probably put the Ravens at 5, somewhere at 5, and maybe move the Commanders up, because Commanders have been impressive. Granted, the teams, Cincinnati is a little weird to me, and the Cardinals obviously aren't great, but it's not a fluke that you put up 84 points or something in your last 2 weeks. So I maybe would have Washington and a little bit higher. But other than that, yeah, the only one I just didn't agree with was the Bucs, just because it was the. I mean, they did beat the Eagles, but what are the Eagles? They're a weird team this year.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I definitely should have had the Ravens a little higher, but I just right on with the Bucks. I do think the Lions are better, but I'm just valuing that the head-to-head one right now. I think when it's all said and done, I'll be definitely doing some shuffling, but I value that head-to-head win. Because we all know every team
changes week to week, man. So it's And
it seems like once a week a good team always puts up a stinker. I just think that game that the Bucks played, with Broncos, they just put up a stinker. They had a bad game. Same when the Lions played the Bucks, they just put up a stinker performance. Even the Jets put up a stinker against Denver in a terrible 10-9 game. So it's a weird game, but
the Bucks have a pretty tough schedule. Falcons Thursday night, obviously. Then they play the Saints.
They lose that game.
I think they could lose that game. Falcons have been sneaky good. Then they play the Saints. And then the Ravens, Falcons again, Chiefs, 49ers, and then they finally get a break with the Giants and Panthers.
Yeah.
A tough middle of your schedule.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out Jaden Daniels. That's been my starting quarterback in fantasy. He's been lighting it up for me too, man.
Called him for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, good call.
Yes, it's his to lose at this point, for sure. All right, well, yeah, good show, fellas. Anything else y'all want to add before we get up out of here?
Oh, another good weekend of football coming up, man. The season, we're already a month into the season. That's all right. What is it? It's October 1st already. That's crazy, guys.
Crazy.
Absolutely. All right. So, yeah, Thursday Night Football Thursday, Oregon, Michigan State Friday, and you got the whole weekend's games. So, sports update. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow. Tigers tomorrow, 2:30. Yes, sir. We'll see who's on the mound. So, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.